Thursday morning in the city of Lagos, Southwest Nigeria. My name is Damola Ogunshaki. Let's move straight to the front pages of the dailies and starting with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with strike. Our Labour veterans got NLC, TUC to close ranks. You can see that story on page 14. The writer says NLC, TUC, each working separate agenda for same purpose. NLC not carrying us along, TUC alleges. TUC betrayed our trust, NLC counters. Veterans of Labour Movement intervene. NLC TUC leaders meet, iron out differences, jointly declare strike. Labour Party back strike. You see that on page 29. And on page 8, 3 killed, 9 injured as gunmen, kidnappers storm Kwara. Gas flaring sacks over 27 communities in Imo. Kwankwaso, a Syria contestant that's coming from Ganduje. VCs present a report of challenges facing varsities to Education Minister. And on page 16, Olufason, if there is a perceived gap between what a leader says and what he really means or represents, his narrative will fail. You can see that inside Vanguard newspaper and on sport on page 31. AFCON 2025-2027 hosting right. CAF reject Nigeria Benin bid. And here there's a picture. It says Muslim faithful celebrating the Eid al-Maulud in Suleja, Niger State yesterday. On page 9, live well, be happy, death calls on us daily. Reflections on human flourishing in Nigeria. 2. Stories above on page 26. Eid al-Maulud, Akpabio, Abbas, Obi, governors, Christian Association of Nigerians, others call for prayer, peaceful coexistence. Insecurity stopping us from opening tourist sites in Niger. That's coming from the government. Biden appoints Osage Imasoge Chineye Ogunmike as advisors. You can see that on page 25. NNPC $3 billion loan. Afrexim Bank opens funding talks with oil traders. Bank customers pay 154 billion naira fee for e-banking service. You can see that story on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. Away from that, we'll move to the Punch newspaper. And here it says Labour Force Federal Government meeting insists on indefinite strike. Any fresh meeting won't stop us. It is going to be mother of all strikes. Labour Union vows. Federal government says new meeting dates will be announced. TUC asks government to account for subsidy removal savings. Stories below on page 12. Afenifere accuses Obasanjo of ridiculing obas, demand apology. Ondo woman kills husband with pistol, flees. Stories above. Chicago academic record. Article plans fresh suit against Tinubu. Lastly, on the Punch newspaper, debt crisis, top tax waivers, IMF tells Nigeria. You can see that on page 16. Now let's move to the Guardian. Guardian is leading with lax PIA implementation leaves NNPCL, NUPRC, NMDPRA in disarray. You can see that on page 6. Story below. We have LP back strike as Oluomo warns NLC against interfering with NURTW. Woman kills 65-year-old husband with pistol in Ondo State. Lastly, on the Guardian, Ondo lawmakers shun court orders move to impeach deputy governor. Now, let's look at the nation. Nation is leading with INEC. Insecurity threatens November 11 governorship polls. Youth unwilling to work in ad hoc capacity, says National Commissioner. And on page 30, French envoy assists Niger. Trump inflated asset value. Stories above. Obasanjo should apologize to monarch, says Afenifere. Group seeks support for Tinubu. Stock market transactions soared to 2.42 trillion naira. Right above the nameplate, we have two women arrested with 1,000 rounds of ammunition. Shagamu court killing. DSS moves to unravel masterminds. Lastly, on the nation, next Edo governor must respect monarchy. You can see that story on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. And that's all we have on the front pages of the dailies this morning. Join us after the break for the analysis. Welcome back. If you are just joining me, this is Today the News of Vanguard Life. My name is Damlola Ogunshakin. Joining me to analyze the front pages of the daily list this morning is Mr. Oludari Mayowa. He's the publisher of Global Financial Digest. Good morning, Mr. Mayowa.
Good morning, and thanks for having me today.
Yes, thanks for joining us. Now, let's talk about the planned strike for October 3rd. So, Nigerian Labour Congress and the TUC, that's Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, announced to Nigerians, especially workers, that the two Labour parties would jointly prosecute the planned nationwide indefinite strike. And this is recently after their Cold War.
I think the coming together of TUC and NLC is a good moment for the labor union in the country. They have always been working together,
was thinking maybe you're coming.
putting their effort to improve the lives of the workers in the country. I'm sure this time around there have been a situation in their ranks by the politician. It's the duty of the labor to protect the workers, and it's equally the responsibility of the government to actually stop whatever action they want to take that may affect or bring a kind of a poor bad policy to the government. So it's a normal thing in a situation like this. But it's good that the labor union are closing rank and are forging on to protect the interests of their people in the face of the economic mass in the country.
But do you think they should go ahead with the strike, seeing that this strike will affect the country's economy?
Yeah, it's a two-fold thing. First, the labor will have to go on strike if government refuse to actually come to the table and to negotiate with them. The good thing is that for us not to have a strike at all, because strike will disrupt economic activities. It will cause more inflation, it will cause more destruction in the economy that is totally. It will affect growth in the economy, and it will affect business at large generally, and affect people who are sustained earner, who depend on they were living income. It's those who sell on the road, those who petty traders to disrupt their economic activities. But unfortunately, government need to be very upfront with them, to be come to the table and negotiate with them, because the economy is tough. Since June, when the president has removed fuel subsidies and the exchange rate has been abolished to the single rate, we have been having foreign exchange rate is 1,000 per naira to dollar today, and that has impacted every aspect of the economy, and the wages of the workers have not increased. So that means their standard of living have been shifted massively as a result of government policy. So government need to really rise up and do something that will reduce the pressure impact the economic reform on the activities. That's the only way they can avoid the strike, really. That's my own position.
But according to the union, no meeting or promise would make them stop the strike. That the only thing that will make them stop is the fulfillment of all their demands, and nothing else.
No, I think that stand is probably reactive to the experience with government negotiators the last couple of months, and I'm sure they are taking that stance because they want to drive home to the government that they are serious in their resolve to embark on strike. But I'm sure the government will do it. Government can still intervene at this level. For example, if the president himself actually step in and call the labor leader to meeting the Aso, and assure them that these are the plan of government concerning the workers in this country, and that could actually slow down whatever move they are making and calm the system. But if the government ignores them, then it's at our own peril to affect the entire government, the entire nation at large, and it show the government, the president, and his team as insensitive to the feelings and to the needs of the people.
Despite all this hardship, the national deputy president of trade union, that's Tommy Etim, he said that the federal government that they are planning to sack 17,000 workers. I mean, in this current suffering hardship.
I'm sure it's one of the side for government to hamstrung the labor to come to their terms. Sacking in the depressed economy, I'm not sure is the right way to go. Here we have been asking for our government to reduce the cost of governance in this country, but we are not seeing that measure being taken serious by the government in place. We have over close to 50 ministers in a depressed economy. What are they doing? And each minister will have about 40 assistants, social assistants, social advisors, and the rest. So cumulatively, the government is overloading the budget, overloading the expenditures, instead of reducing the expenditure to ensure that they cut down on area of wastages. And the government is not showing that seriousness on this part. Why should you want to sack people who are just mainly hearing 30,000 naira per month and less than what the political officers are taking home? We have the overbloated wages in the National Assembly and the rest. So government, I don't know what government want to do. I'm choosing the labor to come to term, because when they are in the job of labor, I mean the workers are threatening, they put pressure on their labor leader to say to slow down on government, on strike and the rest. But that's not the way to go. Government need to really sit down, actually accept that they are sensitive to the feeling of Nigerians, and they are recognize that the impact of the country, the economy reform is biting hard on the people, and take a functional approach to resolve this issue. That the sacking is not the way to go. Yeah, this time around, that's where I look at it.
Okay, Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers and also the National Union of Electricity Employees, they vowed to join the indefinite strike declared by TUC and NLC. So that means there might be scarcity of fuel, and also electricity will be affected.
Yeah, that's, I mean, that's the maximum infliction of pains on the people who are already on the ground. And that's why the government to rise up to the occasion. It's essential that government actually rise up and show empathy. It's time for government to show empathy, that they have the feeling. But the way the government is going around is that they don't care what's happening. They are living in a cocoon. They are living in a silo. They are not mindful of what is going on around them. Probably they believe they are isolated from what happened. But if there is crisis today, this country today, it will affect them. It will destabilize the government, so to say. So my appeal will go to the president, because the buck stop on his table. He need to take decisive step, a functional functional step that will resolve the whole issue. There's no way you can embark on reform of this magnitude and without a palliative that will cushion the impact on the workers. People are earning 30,000 for a month among the workers, for example. They are finding their transport costs going over more than 100%. Food inflation has gone up, everything has gone up around them, yet they are going to remain stagnant, static on the same place. How would they cope? How would they survive? This should be the thought of the government. If we really ask government that listening, that cares about people, this is time for them to rise up to the occasion and do something, and not look like they are all confused or they are uncomfortable where they are in any bigger wages, enjoy the comfort of their offices without caring for the people. Government is meant to care for the people, for the good of the people. And if they are not doing anything, in the last June, July, August, September, 4 months, if they are not doing anything to resolve, to ameliorate the pain in the people, then what is the essence of government? That's where I look at it. So I appeal to the president to step in and do something now to avert crisis, to avert more pain on the masses.
3 persons lost their lives while 9 others sustained various degrees of injuries in 2 separate incidents involving bandits and kidnappers in Kwara State. For some time, we didn't hear anything about the kidnappers and just little cases about bandits evading state in Nigeria. But recently, there's been a lot, especially with the NYSC students that were kidnapped. Now it seems they are invading different parts of the country again. What do you think about this? Even despite the fact that the present president changed the security chiefs and security officers.
Yeah, the law in the activity of bandits, terrorists, and the rest in that period of transition is for them to understand the system, look and watch if this government can bite. even he has a firepower and can resolve the issue. I'm sure they have waited so long. They are not seeing any change. They are not seeing any dynamism. They are not seeing any resolve on the part of the government in resolving the issue in the country. That's why they now move into full-blown action. We are seeing them in Zavara. They have gone to kidnap students in their hostels. We are seeing them in Nasarawa. I see them all over the place. No resurgence of this attack. And that's a call to action for the government, for the security agency. We have seen in Plateau, we have seen in other parts, we have seen in Benue, for example, and it's steadily moving down the south. And the police, IGP, the chief of army staff, and the rest must sit up. The DSS, Director General must sit up. This is time for them to show that it cannot be business as usual. Because you can't have, if you have any insecurity to what we are facing in this country, then you are likely to paralyze the economy. You are likely to see a downward trend in every indicators in this country. And it will not all go well for the president and his team and his government, and it will not go well for the people of Nigeria who are already overburdened by inflation, by most drop in standard of living, and by all manner of things. So, I mean, government need to rise up. What do they say of government? If you have a change of government, you say the last government was bad, and what step is this present government doing to resolve the problem and to make the people happy? It's not about standby. It's not about traveling over the place. It's not about looking for. Because if you travel to all over the world and say you are canvassing foreign investor, foreign investor will not come to a country that is not stable, that is full of insecurity, that the economy is not moving, that people are not happy. They will not come, regardless of their promise made during those conferences. So government need to know that the only way they can create a conducive environment for foreign investors to come to this country is to resolve insecurity. It will resolve the workers' crisis. Is to ensure that things move, reduce inflation, and stabilize the foreign exchange market, and ensure that there is stability in the country.
Ondo State House of Assembly, they are vowed to go ahead with the impeachment proceedings against the deputy governor of the state, Lucky, despite the fact that the deputy governor filed a lawsuit to stop the move. Instead, they're telling him to respond to the allegations.
The unfortunate thing about impeachment is that the provisions for impeachment in constitution is very omnibus, and it granted the people in government, the governor, and in collaboration with the House of Assembly to commit whatever havoc they can commit. There's no stopping them, and regardless of whatever the court has ruled concern that, they might go ahead, and it cannot be whatever for the deputy governor. They might throw me out of that place, regardless of what the court says, because the what is misconduct, it can be put under anything, and the governor, the House of Assembly has made up their mind to impeach the deputy governor. And regardless of what court can do, I'm not sure. Although this is impunity on the part of the government, the legislator and the governor himself. You know who is behind the impeachment? It's the governor. Unfortunately, but there's nothing. I'm not seeing any court really helping the deputy governor on this matter. This is unfortunate, but we are living in a system that's full of impunity, where government disregards court rulings and court judgments.
Okay, lastly, let's quickly talk about this one. Pan-Yoruba socio-political organization, Afenifere, they have lashed out at former President Olusegun Obasanjo for disrespecting traditional rulers in Oyo State by ordering them to stand up and sit down at a public function. I'm sure you saw that video and what went viral. What's your take on what they're saying?
Unfortunately, it was a sad development. I'm one of the biggest fan of Obasanjo, but I love his performance in government. I see him as one of the best so far in this country. I knew what the economy was when he took over. I knew what the economy was when he left the government. I'm so bullish about my support for him. But that action I'm so disappointed about the
Bruno
man.
shall miss penalty.
He
Miss
behaved like a
Ronaldo don't miss
midfield
penalty.
jointer, and
Gone miss.
what he did was totally wrong for a man of his status, for a man of his age, and he should in humility apologize to those obas. For me, unfortunately, he was trying to make a point. We can still make his point without subjecting those people to ridicule. And unfortunately, the obas are in a precarious situation because they hold their allegiance to the governors of the state. If the government are appointed, it's going to sign up there, then it's going to given the staff of authority. So, in other words, it's like the governor is above the king. But traditional wise, the obas owns the land, they own their territory, and they are like traditional institutions. We should revere them, we should honor them. Because some of them are messing up their status, we should still honor them. And it's not in the place of General Obasanjo to act in that manner. It's between his status. And for me, I will equally support people who are asking to openly apologize for those people. Yes, governors seem to be the one who appoint them, pay their salaries, who install them, who can remove, can depose them, and the rest. I've said that, all of that. But that's notwithstanding. What is the expected of a statement in status of Obasanjo is to intervene in a more mature manner, not openly disgracing those obas. That way, he can correct them not to be angry and treated like a children of primary school. That's exactly my position. Yes, we have bastardized the issue of general rulers in this country because we have empowered the governor, the power to hire and fire. So the governor have authority over them. They need to actually conform that. That was the point the Obasanjo was trying to make. But unfortunately, he made it in the wrong way. That's exactly again what I'm saying. He should apologize for that open embarrassment. He would have done that in a manner that will not subject them to that open ridicule. And that's the point I'm trying to make.
All right, sir. Let's end this on a lighter note with Mr. and Mrs. And the first person speaking today is Mr. Mr. says, I will do everything you want, but you have to be patient. One proverb says, with patience, one can boil stone to become soft. Mrs. replied, with increase in price of gas and kerosene, look for another proverb.
That's the economically strategic response to that matter. Because if you want to boil even beans now, you are careful enough to cook more so that you won't waste gas. Don't talk of now trying to boil stone to And that correlation is not a proper one, and I agree with the Mrs. A good one like it always be anyway.
Well, I actually spoke to a friend who, before the whole inflation started and the increase in gas, I think they cook beans almost every day in their house. But now, says they cook beans once in a month because of the price of gas.
Yes, well, because of gas, you have to cook it massive and probably store it away in the fridge. Unfortunately, the electricity, and it's not has not been stable in recent times. So, though we are double to your party.
Thank you, Mr. Myra, for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much and have a lovely day. And regards to everyone behind the scene.
Yes, and you too. And this is what we have to draw the curtain. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki. Do want to like and follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. On Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, our WhatsApp number is also displayed on your screen. Have a lovely Thursday.